Going on, everybody? I've been having laptop issues. That's why I haven't went live in a minute. My laptop went out on me, so I had to find a new laptop. We had an old one, so I'm using that right now. Yeah, went live in a minute. Top. We had an old one, so I'm using that right now. Went live in a minute. Top. We had an old one, so I'm using that right now. Man, I got this baby sheep in the background over here doing all this loud hollering, y'all. For real. But yeah, my main laptop I've been using clunked out on me. And so I done had to string one together and we back live and in effect. But that's why I haven't been live. I'm gonna have to upgrade and get me a little something better. The one I had about 5 years, but you you, you should better keep your laptop longer than 5 years. But they say that's regular. And the one I got right here, I think I've been having that about 10 years. But anyway, y'all hear that baby sheep in the background? That's my wife. That's that sheep we've been feeding, that little white one. My wife done named that joker. That joker big and to get on that smoker. Like for real. I'm talking about just won't shut up. I'm keeping them right there right now because they can get through the fencing up at the top of the hill up there. And they don't have any guidance. The mamas up there stopping the other babies from getting out. Like they follow the mama. These three right here, they just nomads. So yeah, that joker there, boy. I hate a hollering animal, y'all. But anyway, I've been man, I just been trying. I haven't been trying, y'all. I have been doing some stuff, guys. Been really, really working. Let me get my microphone right. Hold on. How that sound right there? Yeah. So I'm praying and hoping this doggone laptop don't go down. Let me read the comment. Hey, what's going on, Lahoma? Let's see, growing. Let's see, subscribe. Profit. Yeah, that's some Twitch stuff. But anyway, what we're gonna talk about today. I literally have been I've been recording a lot of videos. I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm putting together some things that I want to help people with land buying and land purchasing and helping people achieve the dream, but not just achieve the dream, but get it, but don't get played. Because what I realize about a lot of city folk is, if y'all see the last video I just did, we moved down here from the city and we get hustled, because the numbers that they're talking, they're nothing in the city. You could buy a place in the city for 200,000. That's a dump. You buy a place in the country for 200,000. You got you somewhere something nice, right? So my biggest thing has been teaching the city people how to not come down here and get hustled. And simply all it is truthfully, it's just finding local representation and local lending if you need to borrow money. Um, one of my big push is, if you're gonna buy raw land, just raw land, don't borrow money to do that. Buy raw land if you can afford the cash just to do it. Now, if you have to, let me put that out there. Now, if you have to borrow the money to buy the raw land, don't start building on it until you actually get it finished, paid off. You get what I'm saying? If you get some raw land for 50K and you need to borrow the 50K, I think I would just focus on paying the 50K off first before I start building on it. Because anything can happen and you put money in it and you haven't never got it paid off, and now you losing everything because of something happened, right? We never know. So I think the energy and effort should be to get the land paid for outright. And I'm gonna tell you something, guys. These numbers are not 50,000 is really, it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. Like, it really not. You can really pay that off fast. You know, for real, you could pay that off fast, but it just take reprioritizing your money and reprioritizing your spending. And I think that's the part where people get kind of scared about, when you ask them to stop doing some things to actually that's benefiting them now today, but will benefit them in the future. So what I would do, if I don't have the money, now if you have the money, just buy the land outright. Like, try to get the best price you can, get a cash price for it. Um, Go in there negotiating with the cash. If you got the cash, you in a position of power. Offer them a upfront quick close. We can close in 10 days. You got to give your closing attorney time to do their due diligence. So don't promise no fast closing and you haven't spoken to your closing attorneys first. So speak to your closing attorney. And for everybody who don't know what the closing attorney actually do is, the closing attorney actually dig through the paperwork of the property, dig through everything that's going on with the property. They find out if it's sending back taxes on the property. They find out if it's a clean deed on the property. Make sure the deed is not cloudy. If it's a warranty deed or just a quick claim, they do all the due diligence when it comes to the deed, the taxes, and everything on the property, right? So I wouldn't promise a super fast close. I would promise a 10-day, 2-week close, but you got to let your closing attorney decide. Because let me tell you what happened with me. My closing attorney, I used a out of town closing attorney, so I can tell you all the stuff I'm teaching y'all about making sure you get a local representation. And I'm gonna talk about that. Is because I didn't do that. And let me tell you what happened to me because I didn't do that. The next year when I went to pay the tax bill, come to find out there were some back taxes on the property. Now, fortunately, they weren't so back that it was only 1 year back, and the closing attorney missed it. Now, if I had used a local attorney, closing attorney, in which we tried, but one thing you got to remember about the country, everything is so slow. You call and well, I get around there this weekend. It's not like in the city, right? So the sense of urgency is not there because everybody in cruise control. But now I understand because that's pretty much what's knocking us off in the city. We go, right? So since I didn't use a local closing attorney, the local closing attorney would have understood what's going on down at the tax commissioner office. So they come out and do their pictures and then they submit the paperwork in, right? Once the paperwork goes in, it may take them another 6 months before the bill come out. So what happened was we closed on the place in the middle of that transition. Now, the local attorney, having done this before, having dealt with the commissioner up there before, he know how it goes. So he said, hold on, we need to find out what's going on with the current tax. I said, well, it's saying nothing. No, it don't go in until blah blah blah. You see, so we closed fast and it was a cash deal. We closed, but I owed taxes on it. So when I went, but it wasn't a major amount, but it still was money I had to pay. And I thank God I had the money, but the only reason why I knew is because I was down there paying them. If I hadn't have been down there paying them, then I wouldn't have never known. And next thing you know, I got a tax lien on the property. They foreclosing on the property because the taxes. So the importance of making sure you use local closing, local realtors, local everything is so important because they actually know what's going on with that property. They know everything. Whereas if you coming from out of town and you using somebody from out of town, they don't know. All they can do is just look up stuff. They can find stuff. Of course, they can find things that they can find, but man, in the country, man, things aren't as automated as it is in the city. So my number one advice is, well, I got twofold, right? My first advice is this: if you can, pay cash for your land, and it's gonna make sense in a minute. If you can, now if you can't, finance the land, go through everything, and don't start building on that land until you've paid it off. Okay, that should make sense to y'all. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm saying it is because things happen, things go left or right, whatever. You know, the land, you end up losing the land, you got to sell it. At least you ain't got that much money into it, tied up into it, right? Now, if you can afford to buy the land, this is my suggestion: just buy it because you're going to be in a position of power. Now, remember, as long as you don't overpay for that land, it's pretty much like a piggy bank sitting here. And that's what a lot of people seem to not understand about land. It's a tangible asset. It's something that you can touch. It's not just on a screen. So the land asset is more than just us living on it. It's what we do with it. So this year was an eye-opening revelation for me, just understanding about land, that the land and the soil is the resource. It's not the house. It's not me. It's the soil. The soil is going to be here after we leave. It was here before we got here. So the soil is the actual resource. So remember, that's the true asset right there. If you get that part early, then you're good to go. The soil is the resource. It's gonna be here when the buildings are tore down, when we all gone, and there's a new group of people here. This soil will still be here. So that's the resource. We've been tricked into believing that the house is the acreage. I can stand over my property and look at, put my arms out and look at my field, and that's this all the asset. No, the dirt is the asset, guys. That's the asset, because there's no other place you can plant something and it'll grow from nothing. All I need is seeds, and I can put it in this ground and it'll grow. You see, so I can create a lifestyle from this soil. I can create a way of life from this soil. I have. So I'm eating out of my garden right now. Last night, my whole entire meal was out of my garden. I ate some fried green tomatoes, some jalapeno peppers, and I'm sorry, the beans weren't out my garden. The beans we bought from a local farm, another farm, right? But it all pretty much the whole meal came from my soul. So understanding that the soul is the true asset, then I want to get as much as I can and not just have it to talk about it, but truly use it. Because we've grown accustomed to building these big monuments on the asset. So we build these monuments that's just going to decay away. The houses, the barn, we need them, but that's going to all decay away. But the soul is never going anywhere, right? It's never going anywhere. So our first thing is we got to get back connected to the soul. The Bible talk about we come from dirt and we're going to return to dirt, right? It mentioned dirt. We come from the soul. We're going to return ashes, ashes, dust, dust, dirt to dirt, whatever, right? So listen, we've been so disconnected from it that we don't see it for what it is anymore. We've been so disconnected from the soul that we don't see that it's the asset. So you get some cash, buy you some land, guys. Buying that soil, buy that dirt. You're buying that dirt. If you plan on eventually living out there, that's one strategy. If you don't plan on living out there, and you're just trying to scoop up as much as you can with your money, I think that's a safer bet than a lot of other investment engines. I think land is a safer bet, because it's truly not going anywhere. Now the markets go up, the markets go down, etc. But I feel like it's a true tangible asset at the end of the day. Even if somebody's trying to buy you out, you can sell them and get that money. You get what I'm saying? Or somebody want to build and you're in that way, and you just say, look, man, just give me 200,000, and you want to pay 15 for it 5 years ago or 20 years ago. I had a friend of mine that happened to him for real, and he made a deal sitting in a barbershop. Because I used to cut hair, and he said I think he said he paid 17,000 for it, and he ended up selling it for over 100K, just because the person who was building this subdivision or whatever needed that piece of land, and he made money. So if you got money and you're sitting on the money, take the money and buy you some soil, guys. Buy you some soil, get you some dirt. If you want to eventually live on it, then you're gonna have to buy you a piece of dirt with a place on it. Had a conversation with guys. I just had a conversation with an old friend of mine, and I have a conversation with another guy. As a newbie, as a person who just getting started, never buy undeveloped land. Don't do it. I don't care how cheap it is. The undeveloped land, that's the cheap land, the $2,500 an acre, the $3,500 an acre, right? That's the cheap land. That's the land that everybody sees and want for cheap, right? That's the dream. I could buy 50 acres for that price. Yes, you can, but you're gonna have to develop it. So they sold it to you at such a great price because you're gonna have to spend quadruple that just to develop it. What I mean, bringing the electricity on your place. So the number one thing I think, if I had to focus on one thing when I buy my property, one thing, the first thing I'm gonna focus on is road access. You cannot build on a property you cannot access. So you need road access. And I'm not just talking about the road in front of your property. We're talking about to get down into your property. So even if you want the power company to come down and put electrical line, they need a road. Okay. So that's the first thing I learned out here. You can't build on what you can't access. So if you want to buy you a property, number one, if it's in undeveloped property, your number one first expense is going to be cutting you a road in there. And that's where a lot of people reach their first eye-opening experience with properties, because you think, oh, that's a little dirt, man. That's $20,000, man. 25K, 30K, depending on how far back You're trying to go with your road, right? So people start saying, "Oh man, I want to property this way back in the woods, can't nobody see." Yeah, that sound good. It does until you need 50,000 just to cut the road back there, like and get gravel spread. Now, some people can do it cheaper because they have assets, right? They got resource. They got an uncle that has a bulldozer, nephew that got a skid steer, an uncle that has a backhoe, and granddaddy, he still got that old tractor, right? So him buying a piece of property way back and they gonna go in there and cut a roll, and that ain't nothing. That's a weekend for him and his family. But if that's not you, don't do it. Don't do it. It sound good, but if I showed you my messages, I'll show you how many people that say I got 100 acres. I inherited 200 acres. I have this and I don't know what to do with it. Like literally, what am I supposed to do with this, right? So the first thing has to be a road. Has to be a road. The next thing has to be water. You have to get water on that place. You do. So you need to get water. You can get by without power. You can go straight 100% solar, which is a good idea, man. So if you got to spend 20K to get your power brought to your property, you really need to focus on solar, because you could probably get a nice system um for 20, 30K, but you're gonna have to do a lot of the work. If you got to bring some people and the people have to install them, then that's a different story. But if you just buying the panels, the batteries, everything that come along, all the parts that come along with it, you can get something nice for 30,000, but you're gonna have to do the work. So that's the big thing, because that's where the hustle come in. The hustle don't come in on the parts. The hustle come in on the people charging you more than the actual parts to do the work. But solar 100% off grid, and that's beautiful. I wish my place was like that, right? And I can get like that. Pull the meter, tell them to come take their meter, but I'm gonna need solar. So my first thing would be water. My first thing would be water. We need water. Um, a well, depending on how deep it is, will cost you 8, 9, 10, 15, $20,000, depending on how deep they have to go. So most well companies, I found this out as research. I have not purchased a well, but I'll talk to somebody and a few people that got wells, and I also talked to a well person that drill wells. How they do this: set a set fee to drill so deep, right? So they'll say, we'll go 100 feet for this amount, right? Or 50 feet, whatever, for this amount. And if they hit water within that, then your fee covers that. But let's say they got to go another 50 feet. So they're going to now start charging you per, you know, depth they have to go. And let's say you got to go 200, 300 feet in the ground to hit water. You know, you're spending money. So you might have started out with 15,000, 14,000. I asked around, it was 14K to get a well dug, but it's like 100 feet. After that, I think it might have been 200 feet or something. I think it was 100 feet. And after that, it's per depth, the per foot, not foot, but it's like so many, whatever, right? So we need water on the place. We can live by candles and sunlight, because one thing Hurricane Helene taught me, y'all, and I want to say this for real. When we were out of power, we was out of power for 7 days during Helene. It taught me that we don't need as much lights inside the house as we think we do. We don't, because you can open up the blinds in the daytime and you got natural sunlight. At nighttime, if you need, lights inside, you can do candles, or you can, something, but you don't need as many lights as you think you do. Hurricane Helene taught me that. We was out of power for 7 days. So I learned a lot. So now we're going road access, water. Road access, water. Now you have to make a determination. Do I want to go off grid power? Because now it's time to get the power. Do I want to go off grid power, or do I want to go grid power? If you got 30,000 to spend, and let me say this, because I don't think people really understand what it's going to take to develop a property. That's why my push is for all y'all to buy developed properties. It got a little rundown mobile home on it. It may be leaning sideways when you get out there. It's ugly and it's in disarray, but the infrastructure is there. Somebody has already spent the most important money. You can get that place moved out of there and get you a brand new mobile home set out there. They quick to finance you if you got a piece of property now. I'm telling you, they'll bring that mug out there quick, right? And you got decent credit and got an income, oh man, they'll bring it out there. So I don't care about the habitat. I care about the power, the septic, and the water. That's what I care about. Now, let's say you going the opposite route, which is your right, right? You have to decide if I'm going to go on grid or off grid electricity. Me personally, I'm going to go off grid with the money. Now, this is what I need for you to understand while I'm talking to you, right? Apologize for the sheep in the background. She won't stop hollering, but it is what it is. This is what I want you to understand, and I need you to get this point. When you're bringing power to a place that don't have power to it, you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. So let's say, I want you to get it. Let's say your place, the while I'm talking, something flew down my neck, throat, y'all. Let me get it together. But let's say they need to go 200 feet down into your property. There is copper inside that wire. That's copper, guys. They're not going to give you that copper. You got to pay for that. Now, certain counties, certain companies will give you so much, right? But let's say where I'm at right here. Y'all see all the way up that hill up there. Let's say they had to bring the electricity from up on that main street all the way down here. Man, they're not going to do that for free. So you may be on the hook for $20K and they're going to just put it in a bill. You may have to pay $2,000 a month. Straight up. You may have to pay, $1,000 a month to pay for that. You hear what I'm saying? So you have to kind of understand it. I think underestimated the cost is the number one failure point for people who want to do this. Because the dream is big, but the actual doing it, the logistics is what get everybody kind of thrown off. So if you got to spend $30,000 on some electricity, now that's assuming you have it. You might as well go. Sorry, you might as well go off grid. You might as well go off grid, and that's 100% solar. And yes, I would put me a generator, probably a propane generator out, because on my bad days, I can, when it's not sunlight and it's not that much coverage, I would use my generator to charge my batteries on my solar, on my system. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I can't say that. You know why? I'm gonna tell you another reason why. Sorry. Another reason why going off grid may not work. I've just thought about this while I was talking. It's the internet. The internet. So where I'm at, we got great fiber internet. That's how I'm streaming right here, y'all. This internet booming. Y'all see how clear that is, right? It's clear, right? The internet booming. So what I realize is what the internet companies do is they use the electrical poles, the poles that's already set up, and they bring the internet down into rural areas. Now, if those poles don't exist, they got to put new poles. I actually saw that. So down here where I'm at, we used to have no internet. It was horrible. I mean, it was horrible, right? They had still like dial-up internet. We end up going with Starlink. Starlink is fine if you don't need a lot of internet. Me, y'all see what I do. I'm in front of a camera. I'm streaming. I'm uploading videos. I can't get by without good internet, right? So Starlink don't work for me. But let's say you don't need that much internet. Starlink could work. It was perfect. Starlink worked perfect. I'm telling you. But it only is going to work if you, because they have what they call data caps. So I had 1 terabyte. And at the end of the month, if we almost out of 1 terabyte, they'll start slowing us down. And other people will start getting priority over us. So it ain't no such thing as just sitting and watching TV all day. That's an absolute no, right? But if you don't need that much internet, Starlink will work. I'm telling you. Now, for me, I use internet. So we have fiber here. Now, this is going to be my point about why you may end up having to go on grid. You need internet. You want access to remote work, right? You can't depend upon a flaky internet. You need something that's gonna allow you to access remote work. Because I had friends come visit on that Starlink, man. They were struggling trying to work, man. They were struggling, right? So now when people come visit and they got to do their remote work, they good. They very good. But if the infrastructure is not there for the electrical, I'm not sure the internet company is gonna be able to pull their stuff. Yeah. So you may end up going on grid anyway. But like I said, there's options. If you don't need that much internet, I would look into Starlink. I'm telling you, man, it works great. It works great. It's the best thing around in these parts, other than that fiber. So now you done made your decision, and we agree that you may end up being on grid, but it depends on your needs, right? If you don't need that much and access, I want you to understand because I'm following this one couple on YouTube, and they just have moved to like the mountains. There's no access. You hear what I'm saying? Like, ain't no company. Like, you paid for $100,000 to bring that up there, because just the sheer amount of wire they have to bring. You know, they have to bring just enough wire because they're gonna connect to the nearest one and bring it. What if the nearest one is 2 miles away? How do they do that? Like, so you're asking them to build out infrastructure for you. So that's gonna be expensive. So that's what you really need to think about when you're buying. In case you just go with the rule undeveloped, you need to think about that. Really for real. Like the ideal is so good. It's been romanticized, y'all. This ideal sounds good. Believe me, I've seen it. It's been romanticized and it's a trend. But the logistics part is what get everybody hung up. That's when everybody get kind of stuck when they trying to pull it off, because now there's limitations. Like, I can't do that. Why? Because you just can't do that. That is not feasible. We don't have $300,000 to bring no internet up this mountain. You get what I'm saying? So think about that. So now you've got your power figured out. The next thing you're gonna have to address is septic. You're gonna need septic. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I kind of got out of order. So when you building out your home site, the first thing you want to do once you determine where you want your home at on your property, because the home site is where you got 50 acres. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. Once you determine your home site, you got to do a perk test on that site to see if that's a good enough site. Right. So you want to build at the highest point on your site. Whatever is the highest point, because you don't want the water to run to, you want your water to run from your property, but you got to build at the highest point on your property. That's what you want your home site to be, right? So now you got to get your perk test. I kind of got ahead of myself. The perk test is what's going to determine if your soil can absorb water, excess water coming off of your septic tank. Now, if it don't perk, you can still build there, but it's gonna be more expensive. So I posted a video about it won't perk, and I talked about it's not perking, because I would not advise you to buy a property that won't perk. If it won't perk, I don't advise you to do that, because the issue is you're gonna have to try to sell that property whenever you want to sell it, right? And you're trying to sell a property that won't perk. So that means I don't care how much you got on this property, how much you done built it out, that property won't perk. You hear me? So you can buy a property that won't absorb the water. You get an engineer out. They could do all kind of stuff to make it work. Okay. True. Would I advise you to do it? No. Why? Because it's going to be a struggle to sell it when you want to sell it, because it won't perk. You can't get a septic permit for it. Well, you probably can get a septic permit after they do the engineering, but you think about it. If you was buying a property, would you want to buy a property that's been engineered to perk? You'll be like, I don't know about that. You see what I'm saying? So once you determine your home site, that's the first thing you should do before all that other stuff. That's due diligence. But I talked with someone recently, and we were talking, and they were getting ready to buy. They're getting ready to close on their property, and he was just trying to decide, should he do the perk test without knowing where his home site is going to be. And I was like, well, that's a waste of time, because if you don't know where your home site is going to be, why would you do a perk test? You just randomly doing perk tests. Perk test $300, $500, just depending on what your county is. So you need to know if the soil going to perk. That's important. I kind of got ahead of myself. Once you determine that it will perk, then you can go on to the other stuff. But I just, it's just too much, y'all. When it comes to rural undeveloped property, for me to look you straight in your eyes and say, yeah, that's a good deal. I can't do it. I can't do it, especially when you done been in apartments and suburbs your whole life. You don't know anything about this stuff. You don't have any resources. You don't even know who to call when you get to the town. Who should you call? Remember, when you move to these rural country towns, it's not like in a city, man. It's not that much help. It's not like it's a lot of people that's doing this stuff. In the city, you can go to the Home Depot and find a contractor. Like straight up, just bump into him. He got a tape measure on, man. He in there trying to get work, acting like he looking for wood. Hey, man, you at home? Yeah, man, I do it. What you got? That's how a lot of them get work. Hang out in the Home Depot all day. It ain't like that in the rural areas. And then even if one of the things I found out when I got down here was that a lot of these people don't want to even um don't even want to come back here. So I had a lot of brothers who, when I first started, I asked them, could they I know they can do the work. And I asked them, would y'all come down there and do it? Yeah, I come do it. Man, none of them showed up. I don't know if I was too far away. I'm too deep in the country. None of them showed up. So I end up going, y'all see me having one guy out here, Stephen White. He was out here because he was the only one that showed up. Nobody else showed up. It's literally hard to get people to come back in these woods to build your stuff out for you. So you need to understand it. So how the money should be spent, in my opinion, a better spend is buying a place that's semi-built out already. You got you a home site, so that means you may have to go in there like we did and renovate the whole property, put some paint up on the wall. Just, it may be sitting, smell funny, paint to do all that. Throw some paint up, throw some new floors down, some baseboards. You good to go. Maybe throw some, paint up a couple of accents walls, just bring it back to life. Hang some pictures, you good to go, right? We came in here and renovated the whole place. Gutted one whole bathroom. That one, no joke. Took a big spring tub out and had to put a regular size tub in. It worked out. I'm glad we did it, but it wasn't no joke. Learned some valuable lessons. Had to run plumbing, did all that, right? But it ain't hard to do. It's not hard to do it. Hard to do it all. So you find your rural places, leaning. You may want to go out there and tear it down. Tear it down. If I was starting and I had cash, I think my move would be get me an RV, build me a pole barn. So I get me an RV. I build me a nice pole barn. A pole barn is just a big old shelter over my RV. So let's say I build me a big one if I have cash. So I get me an RV, put my RV out there, build me a big old pole barn, a nice pole barn, a nice one. Because that pole barn, if you do it right, can be the beginnings of you a barndominium. You get what I'm saying? If you build it right. So you build you a good pole barn, you use some 6x6 posts, big posts, and make you a nice pole barn and park your RV up under there. That RV, parking that RV up under that pole barn has just bought you a lot of time. Now, if you need some time to get your money back right up, you need to get your money right, then just work, live in your RV and get your money right. You hear what I'm saying? And then you could come back and say, hey, I saw this done. I saw a guy do this. I saw a guy build a pole barn around his RV. Straight up. I saw a guy build a pole barn and left the RV inside of it and built that thing in. I don't know what it looked like on the inside, but I saw him do it. Yeah, they built the walls and everything. And just instead of going in there building out the place, he just left the RV in there as a living space. I don't know how I look in the inside. It may be fire. You hear what I'm saying? So let's say you go out there and it's a dump. You go out there and tear down what you need to tear down or leave it alone. Throw your pole barn out there, get you a power plug, put up a 50 amp, 30 amp power plug for your RV, plug your water into the septic, get your water from the tank, put you some filters in for your well, put you some filters on. Now you got a place to live. Buy yourself some time. Don't already have no good internet. Oh man, you set up. Buy yourself some time. Put the pole barn up, live up under the pole barn with your RV for a little while, build your money back up, or slow down. Because even if you have the money, slow down. Because what I notice is when you first buy the place, you so emotional, you doing all this random stuff like, oh yeah, man. It's like, okay, first time home buyers. I bought me a house in the city, man. First time home buyer. I've been watching HGTV so much, man. By the time I got the house, I'm in there tearing stuff up. I don't have no real plan on how to fix this stuff back because I don't know how to do it. But I'm watching all these shows on HTV. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tear this wall out right here. I'm in there tearing out walls and everything. It's not a load bearing wall. I'm standing there with my hammer. Okay, so I know it's not load bearing. I'm watching Mike Holmes and all them people on HGTV and I tore a wall out. Now, when I ever get to the point where I would decide I want to sell this place or move or whatever, and if I buy a new property, I ain't doing nothing because I ain't buying a ton of work. I'm gonna buy a decent enough property that I can go stay in. And I'm gonna slow down. Give yourself some time, man. Give yourself 6 months. Give yourself a year. You know, do the basics. Throw some paint up on the wall and slow down. The reason why I say that is because you're so emotional in the beginning and you're excited. You're doing crazy stuff. Later, you have to undo. You hear what I'm saying? So my best advice to you, once you get on the place and you done got yourself situated, is just slow down. Slow down, man. Don't do nothing. Draw it out. Like, especially when you look at my place out here, all this stuff in the back here. It took me a while just to develop that thought process of, I used to cut all that. I don't know if y'all could see them sheep out there, them goats, but I used to cut all that. That was grass, y'all. I was cutting that. And then one day I'm just sitting, I was thinking like, why am I cutting this when I have animals? So I invested in getting fences built, and now we have pastures for them to graze on. You hear what I'm saying? But in the beginning, I'm just doing stuff like, yeah, man, I'm gonna buy that. Yeah, I always wanted this. So just slow down, man. So let's get back on track. Number one, I don't advise you to buy rural undeveloped, meaning nothing on it. I don't advise that unless you know what you're doing and you have access to the stuff you're gonna need to build it out. Okay. If you don't have access to that, remember, hope is not a strategy. Let me say that. Hope is not a strategy. Well, I hope I can. That's not a real strategy. That's not a plan. Okay. So I don't advise you to do that. Okay. Number two, if you decide to do that, you got to go in the order of magnitude, the most important stuff that has to happen. And I got ahead of myself and I started talking about electric and road and all that stuff. But once you determine your home site, do a perk test to determine if you can build right there. And if you can build right there, you need a road. You're going to need a road and do everything else I said. Road access, you're going to need water access, you're going to need power, and you're going to need septic in that order right there. You know, I mean, it's nasty, but you ain't necessarily got to have, you know, a bathroom to start. You know what I mean? I know it's nasty, man, but you don't, and ain't no way to get the bathroom really running without no water, no way. So you got to get the water done first, and then they got to come out here and dig up the ground and put a tank in the ground, and then do leach field lines, and then hook it up to wherever they're gonna hook it up at. So, do you really want to go through that? Like, just think about that. Just to have the bragging right to say I have 50 acres, you know, I don't want to go through that just to have the bragging right to say I have 50 acres. Or I have 200 acres, you know, and I mean literally, guys. If I showed you, um, um, this real time, no recording, literally, guys, I can show you especially my Instagram inbox. It's so many people saying, "Bruh, bruh, I need help with this, bruh. I need help with this, right?" Yeah, because they have land and don't know what to do with it. Somebody said that this real time. This is a real time recording. I do the I that sheep over there. Listen, man, I'm gonna put that sheep on that smoker, man. That sheep gonna keep on playing with me, and she gonna be on that smoker. Like, she over there jumping, flipping, and everything. That's why I don't like them jokers that hang out with people too much, because they look at you like they mama. Yeah, they over there jumping. She want a bottle. I'll give her one in a minute. But yeah, now I do the this a real time. This is not a recording. I do the recordings at nighttime. I put it out there just to keep the content going. I've been wanting to do a live, but if you missed me in the beginning, um, my laptop went dead on me. My laptop I've been using to go live with, it went dead on me, guys. So I've been stuck in between wanting to do one and So I've been finding videos I can upload to just stream those live. But my wife, I forgot we had these laptops. They old laptops. I got them from my wife, and we gonna go with that. All right. But yeah, man. I just want you guys to understand. One second. I just want you guys to understand by doing this, because so many people are reaching out to me, and everybody wants to own land, and land is the dream, but I don't think people have a true understanding of what it literally costs. Now, let me say this. Let me say this. This is not a deterrent. I do not want to deter you from buying land. I want you to buy land. I feel land is the only real tangible asset in our society. And when I mean tangible, you can touch, right? You can live on it, you can dig a hole in it, you can grow some plants in it, like it's tangible, right? So when I talk like this, don't think my goal is to stop you from doing it. No, 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 no. My goal is to give you a realistic perspective from real experience. If I'm talking to you about it, that means I have been through it. And I'm quick to tell you, when people ask me, I will tell you in a heartbeat, I'm not sure about that because I've never done it. I don't have a problem with exposing what I don't know because I'm fine with that, right? And it's a lot of you guys who are way more smart in this topic matter than I am, right? You done it 3 or 4 times, but I have done it, okay? So my goal is not to deter you. My goal is to prepare you. For all of us who look like us, we don't know enough about this stuff, but yet we have a yearning for it. So we all want to go do it, but we don't have the knowledge base. So for me, I just generally want to be a resource to you guys and allow myself to allow you to use my experiences, whether it's just through a video. I get so many questions every day. I'm across all the platforms, and I get a lot of questions on a lot of platforms. And if I see it, I can respond to it. But a lot of times, guys, I'm busy myself, so I can't spend all day. I'm trying, to do what I can. But I want to not just teach you, but I want to just lend you my experiences to try to keep you from making the mistakes I did. That's why the video I just posted, I just posted it on one platform. I was talking about finding local representation when you get ready to purchase a property. Never, and wherever you about to buy it at, don't use an out of town lender and an out of town realtor. Don't do that. Use in town people. The reason why is because they can guide you through the true what's going on with the property. And then another thing with the property, let's say there's a mortgage on the property and the local bank has the paper on the mortgage, right? It's their property pretty much. And let's say you choose to go with them for financing, it's just writing papers for them. They don't have to wire no cash. They don't have to do anything. They're just basically taking debt off of one person and put it on you. And then whatever you're borrowing, if that person making a profit, they paying themselves back and then taking the extra and paying their borrower, and then you just stuck with, like, it's all one smooth process. When I was first moved down here, let me tell you about when I first moved down here. I was looking at another property because I wanted to run my business out of that property, because I had two options. I was gonna build me a place or I was going to buy a place. And it ended up being cheaper to build a place. And I'm glad I did that because I would still have a mortgage on the place right now. So I've met a guy, introduced me to the guy. The guy had like so many properties and everything. He showed me one he wanted to sell me. It was in downtown of this area. Older home. It was already set up for what we can do, right? It was already set up for it. So I was like, man, I like it. So he gave me the price on it. I got the price. It was reasonable. I didn't have all the cash. I had a little of it. But he said, go down there to the bank and holler at such and such. They'll lend you the money. He said, they got plenty of money to lend you. That's what he told me. He said, they got plenty of money, man. He said, just go on down there and holler at them. I said, all right. So I went down there, sat down with this guy, sat at the desk with the guy. We talked. He asked for a few things. We sent it. I'm right here on the phone, emailing him stuff that he asking for because we know the deal. Certain things, I got a profit loss statement for my business. profit and loss statement for my business. I got an income statement. I got all these different things, man, that I can print out right now from QuickBooks. I can send it, right? No problem. I got real-time bank statements, everything. So I'm sitting at the man desk. He talking to me, asking me for what he need. I'm sending it right now on my phone. He looking at everything. He was like, yeah, everything looked pretty good. He said, everything looked pretty good. I'm gonna check into a couple things. It was a couple things he needed to check into, but it wasn't, I forget exactly what it was, but he needed a day, maybe even two. All right, cool. So I got up, shook his hand, left. He called me back like the next day. He said, yeah, we can do that. He said, yeah, we could do that. But I'm gonna need to put a lien on your current property just in case you don't pay. I said, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that because I never want to jeopardize this place. So I ain't gonna be out here making no crazy business deals using this as collateral, which I'm glad I didn't do, because if I had did it right now, I'll still be on the hook for paying that and have this. That's a lot of pressure, man. Can't sleep at night. Things get slow, then yeah. So I'm so glad I didn't do that, man. But I was about to. But the point I wanted to make was how simple it was. I mean, I sent him a few documents. It was nothing. It was nothing. And so if you're gonna do business in a small town, it would behoove you to possibly and probably go into that small town with local representation. Like, you need a local closing attorney. You need a local realtor. If you need lending, you should try the local banks. Yeah. Now you may have to put some money in just to show them, like deposit some money, open up an account. If you got 50K, you want to put down on the property, or if you got 100 and you want to put 50 down, they may, proof of funds type deal, right? You may have to do that, but it wasn't anything like I experienced up in the city. Like, you almost got to give up everything in the city. So just remember that. Keep that under your hat, that you may come out better and get a better deal using a local realtor, local everybody. And the next thing, the importance about a local realtor and local everybody, they know what's going on. See, you looking at the property on the internet, but the local realtor know that joker about to lose it. Or the local realtor know that joker going through a divorce right now and they got to sell this. The local realtor know that it's some stuff going on. So the local realtor know how to position you. And, if they working for your behalf, they know how to get you a deal. So they say, oh, yeah, I can get you that property. Blah, blah, blah. You want it? Yeah, I can get it for you, and they know how to get you the best deal because they know y'all need this sale. Yeah. And then they may even can point you to the bank to go to. I don't know why them sheep up there hollering like that, but they just doing it. I think that sheep across right here is hollering up the hill. I realized that, and they're hollering back down to it. But yeah, so just think about that when you're getting ready to do it. The worst thing you can do is go into that town, riding up on you. I did it. The big man in town, spending money left and right. Everybody got their hands in your pocket. And I got this guy, is a Canadian guy, man. He's a friend of mine. I was down there. He did some work for me, and he charged me something. And he said, I said, I was gonna give him some money. He said, that's too much, Larry. He said, you're paying too much. He said, it was a guy I considered a friend at the time. He said, he told me to charge you more than what I charge you. I said, really? He said, yeah. He told me that. I said, wow. And I realized then that we don't have no clue. They'll do it for $40. But we used to plan 100. We feel like 100 is fine. But no. And he told me, he said, that's too much. He said, don't, you paying too much. I said, really? He said, yeah. So that's one thing I want to tell you, that'll help you. That'll help you keep more of your money in the pocket, because things go up and things go down. I ain't never seen nothing stay up forever. Business come, business go, business rise, business fall, and it rise again. The people who can weather all the ups and downs, they call them ebbs and flows, are the ones who successful, not the ones who do good in one particular moment. Because you got people who can do well in a moment or in one season, but they can't weather. They can't weather. When it goes down, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to make it. They done gave up and walk away. You know, they don't know, they didn't position themselves. So being prepared, getting yourself ready for anything, what allows you to stand. So that's one of the things I want to encourage you, man, with, man, about getting local representation and help when you come into the city. But absolutely buy the land. Buy the land. If you can afford it, buy something tangible. Buy it, but buy it right. Don't go out there and buy no doggone swamp. You don't went out there and bought a, they done sold it to you for 30,000, and you done bought 15 acres, and they took pictures of the first 3, and the other 12 acres is mangrove swamp trees in the back there that you got to figure out how to, you done bought a wetland back there. You got gators in the back, don't even know it. You get what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. If you buy it right, buying it right, that's what's going to assist you in the future. And when you buy it right, it becomes not just an asset to you, it becomes an asset to the community as well. Because what happens is, as the value of this property rises, everybody else's property go up. So they love to see your property. When they come in and appraise this property is now valued at blah blah. Now that's a comp for them. So if they want to sell their property, refinance their property, or whatever, they can use your last appraisal or the last tax assessor assessment on your property as a number that they can comp, and they can refinance their property like that, or they can pull equity out their property, So yeah, man, it becomes a asset to the community. So that's what I'm doing out here, man. This a piggy bank, but it's a real live asset that you can touch. And I'm just now scratching the surface on understanding that. Remember that when we end this video and this stream, if I cannot leave you with one thing, the best thing I can leave you with is the soul is the true asset. You build on the soul. You buried in the soul. You see what I'm saying? Like the soul will be here when we gone. The soul sustains. Like the soil can be in ill repair right now, but if you do what you need to do with that soil, or leave that soil alone, it'll fix itself. You can grow stuff on the soil. You can live on the soil. The soil is the true asset, and it took me a while to get there, but now I'm there, and I know that. Okay, so let me see, guys. Yeah, shady people overcharge. Shady people always overcharge. That's how it go. That's how it goes, guys. Hey everybody, let me see where y'all from. Shout out where you from so I can shout you out. I didn't look at the comments. And another thing is this laptop I'm using is weird, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Let me see. Okay, let's go up. Hey y'all. Hey, everybody here. Everybody. Yeah, they say you can reproduce things that somebody said, Deborah Davis made a good comment. She said you can reproduce things you get from the land, but you can't reproduce the land. That's absolutely. The land is, you can reproduce the land, guys. Reproduce from the land. What's up, Dallas? Moultrie. Every time I go to Moultrie, I go down to Moultrie. I always buy good stuff in Moultrie. I ain't gonna lie. I'm always on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not anymore. I'm tired of Facebook Marketplace. But every time I can say this hands down, Moultrie has been one of my best places to go buy stuff in. Hands down. Every time. Them 2 Moors I got there, I bought them out of Moultrie. They got a county auction down there. They do in Moultrie. I got those Moultrie out of Moultrie. I met a dude down there. He had a pressure washer. I got brand new pressure washer. I got it from him down there. Moultrie is a place I definitely don't mind going to. I like Moultrie, man. Moultrie is a little town, man. A lot of people don't know about Moultrie. Moultrie is a little town, man. Moultrie is nice. Dallas, Texas. What's going on? Georgia, Vero Beach. What it do? What's happening? North Carolina, Low Country. You live in the barber chairs. You want to hear the story about the barber chairs, Tiffany? Your name is Tiffanyana Jackson, child Tiffanyana. Okay. What do you tell the bank to get the loans? Is it better to borrow or come with I would come my own money to make it easier if you can. It's hard to buy a piece of property that there's really no comparables, and then the bank is taking all the risk because they lending you money for a piece of property that hasn't even developed. So if you can buy the raw land, then you can also use the land. You can leverage the land. So let's say you want to build your house on the land. If you buy the raw land, which I wouldn't advise you to really do, without knowing what you're doing. Now, make sure I say that now. But if that's the route you have to go, because a lot of people cannot afford the 200,000 to buy the place with the house on it. But if you have to buy a raw land, then make sure you buy the raw land right. And number two, pay the raw land off, and then you can use the raw land. You can leverage that with the mobile home company. See, because I would get me a mobile home. The mobile home company will build that mug. They'll bring that mug out there. I'm telling you, man, it's nothing. My grandmama them signed paperwork. They came down here one day, signed the paperwork, didn't even know they was gonna do it. We found the place, walked in, signed the paperwork, picked out the one they wanted. Now, only thing they had to do was when it went through underwriting, send this, send that. But we did all that digitally. And the lady told me, Larry, you're gonna have to have the permit soon because we're gonna bring them. I said, how soon? Man, about a week later, she was saying it's ready. And I had to make sure I had everything. So yeah. And you love the barber chair. So Tiviana said she loved the barber chair. So the barber chair comes from when I used to work at the barbershop. A lot of you guys don't know I used to cut hair. I used to cut hair off Counter Road in Decatur, Georgia. I was a barber. And the owner of the barbershop, shout out to Dennis Mitchell, he was getting ready to close the shop down. And I went by, I used to always swing by and check on him, see how he was doing, because business had gotten tough. And he said he done with it. And I told him, I said, Dennis, if you ever sell, if you ever close the shop, let me know. I want to buy my barber chair from you. The chair I used to use and I used to cut hair in. I have two of them. He said, all right, Larry, I got you. So one day I was sitting at home. He said, Larry, you still want that barber chair? I said, yeah, I want a barber chair. He said, come on, man, meet me on Panola Road over here. I got them. I got two of them. No, he said, I got one of them for you. I said, okay. I rolled over there. He had another one. I said, what you want for that one, Dennis? And I think he gave me that with $50 or something. It was cheap. We got it. Helped me load it up. Took it home. So these are the chairs that was in the shop when I worked there. These chairs represent a lot more than me just sitting in it right now. Let me tell you something. It's almost emotional just for me to tell the story, because I was so broke trying to cut hair and make money. And if you ever did barbering or any kind of service-based business, where you need people to come shop, I ain't talking about a plumber or nothing, but you need people to decide they need a haircut. That's tough at times. And I remember sitting in there, man, and just, man, it was tough. So I made sure I bought these, and now they sitting on the front porch of my place. And I always come out here and we sit them and kick it in them, but they mean more to me. All right. So, yeah, Houston, Texas. What's up, Houston, Texas? Houston, Texas. What's happening? Brooklyn, New York. What's happening, Brooklyn? But you live in Smyrna. Hey, what's happening, brother? Sister, hold on. Oh yeah, sister, how you doing? Good evening, Gulfport. Listen, man. Shout out to Eddie Denson down in Gulfport, man. He came through for me, man. Good man. Helped me with my grass. He called me the other day after he saw the video. And he said, Larry, man, I want to tell you that's some good grass, but he also poured some more knowledge into me that I'm getting ready to use on these other two fields over here. And I'm going to use those for my fall grass and winter grass. Come on, let me catch up. Good evening. Rocky Mount, North Carolina in the house. What's up? Biloxi, Mississippi. What's up, Cedric? What's happening, brother? Where my sister Teresa? She in the house. She doing something. She in there doing something. You better leave that. We've been eating. She cooked frog legs today. We ate frog legs today. Man, I'm on this garden stuff. I'm back on my garden again. Now I'm growing enough. Man, I'm eating straight out my garden, y'all. When I say straight out my garden, I'm eating straight out my garden. I'm eating peppers out my garden, tomatoes out my garden. I'm getting ready to harvest eggplant. We ate okra the other day out my garden. We back on the garden for real, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, she in the house doing something. Delaware, what's happening, Miss Rose? Let's see. Oklahoma. Hey, Nashville. What's up, Nashville? I got a friend of mine live in Nashville. Prince George, VA. What's up, Prince George? How y'all doing up there? Charleston, South Carolina. I've been there. How you doing, Vero? How you doing? It says PM. You recommend an option for farm equipment or buying new? Let me. So you asked the question if I recommend you buying used equipment or buying new. Buy used. Don't buy new. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. I mean, the kind of prices you're gonna spend. And when you say farm equipment, okay, in general, I'm talking about like a tractor, um, some stuff you can find cheap. Like y'all just saw me buy a discer, and I bought that discer new. And the only reason why I bought that discer new is because all the prices on marketplace was pretty much only a couple $100 cheaper than that. So I just had to ride a couple hours to get it. So it'll make sense to you when to buy new. But if you're talking about like a tractor, any kind of heavy equipment, if you can get it used, because a resting machine cut grass just like a shiny one do, but you gotta pay a lot more for the resting machine than you do the shiny one. Remember, I don't know how long you've been following me, but I got my tractor repossessed. I got down here, big ball of rain, and got the doggone tractor. The man at the tractor dealership told me, man, don't buy this tractor. Like the man at the dealership telling me, man, just go on Facebook Marketplace, you can get one cheaper than this. I gotta have brand new because I'm from the city. We don't like used cars in the city because it ain't be breaking me down. We don't use, in the country, we buy used car because we ain't driving them that much, right? We ain't sitting in a whole bunch of traffic. So the city, it's a gamble fooling around with a used car. I understand how it go. So I didn't recondition my mind when I got down here. I bought something new, end up losing it because I ran out of money. All right. So yeah, I would go use if I could. I will go use. All right, let's go. I'm going in the comments. Oklahoma. Hey, hey, hey. Oklahoma. You love to hear the chest story. Yeah, that's one of. Hey, what's up, Takara? Why Takara in the house? What's going on? I see you out there wrestling with them cow panels, out there tripping. Well, get them cow panels right, man. Them things ain't that bad, man. Next time before you do it, you come here and watch me. I'll show you how to do it, man. I'll show you how to do it. It ain't that bad, man. It's just you got to do one end at a time to carve. Just one end, and you put the T post in, put the cow pounder in, clip the cow pounder under the little T post. Well, you got the little ridges in the T post that stick out where you connect the fence. Just put your first cow pounder under that, under the first one, and then it's locked in there, and then just bend it down, man. That's what I did. Um, you said what about the mineral on the land? Yeah, listen, guys. It's a lot of people posting about that. I would never on a rainy Wednesday. I don't care if it's 50 acres. I would never buy a piece of property that I don't own all the rights to. Don't do it because somebody will come out there. Let's say you don't own the timber rights. That means somebody can come cut down your trees if they want to. You hear what I'm saying? So I don't care how appealing the deal is. Walk away from that deal because they're trying to play you. They're trying to play you. So if it don't say all rights convey, leave. I don't care how much you in love with the property. I don't care how beautiful the new place is. I don't care. Don't fall for that because they can decide they want to sell all the trees off the place. And you out there in your dream property now, you in a desert. You get what I'm saying? That's flooding because now the trees going, it's going to flood. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, for all this go hard, y'all. For real, man. Absolutely. It says you okay, me and my wife are inspiration to you. I praise God. I pray that not only are we inspiration to you, that not just in word, but also we inspire you to move, to do something, not move physically, but just to do something. Because I always say you want something different, you have to do something different, right? So that's my belief pattern. That's how I believe that if it's something going on that I don't like, if I simply change my actions, then I can get something different. I know it ain't true for everything, but that's been working for me. All right. Let's see. ATL, what's happening? ATL. Do you allow visitors to stop by and see? Nah. The reason why, because you know how many people I have requesting that. I just have a plethora of people coming down. And then right now in this time frame, you can't be too careful. You cannot be too careful. You know, I've had all kinds of experiences down here. That's why I have a gate and I have dogs running around. I've had all kind of experience where, I had one guy, I think a local guy, he found me. So I don't know how he found me. He just pulled up one day, like he out there at the gate, can't get in, and we have cameras up there so we can hear him talking. Right, he on the camera, man. I know they in there, like for real, man. And I went up there and talked to him. He's a good man. He just wanted to holler at me, but nah, man, relax, relax. Let's see. Colorado Springs in the house. Tennessee. That's right. That was my second home. What's that? Is that Utah, Alabama? Utah. I never even heard of that. I've heard of Eufaula. South Carolina in the house. Look, everybody barking. My dog's locked up. My sheep right here hollering because she ready to eat. Dude, them ready to come out, but they good because I got them some. I had a goat process, and I got the bones and everything left over. They gonna eat good tonight. I went and got the bones. I got all the organs and everything. Um, so they about to eat good for. They're gonna eat good for a minute. I got some good food for them. So I'm gonna just put a little kibble in there with it, and put some bones, put some organ meat in there, and some. I got some. Yeah, they gonna eat good, and some eggs. I like to put eggs in there. Don't do too much of the eggs, but I do put eggs in there. But yeah, they over there hollering. They ready to eat. I'm about to feed them, and then I gotta let. If y'all can see them jokers in the back there, I gotta get ready to put them on Sparks. Hey, I was just in Sparks today. Literally, I was at the Dollar General in Sparks off of is it Roundtree Bridge Road? I think it's Roundtree. I was in Sparks today at the Dollar General, at the little Dollar General down there. I was shipping an eBay package back, and I was down over there in Tifton, and I could not find a place in Tifton that takes FedEx. I found one place in Tifton that took FedEx, and when it was a Walgreens, and when I went in there, the girl said, "We can't take no more until FedEx come get them." And God had threw me a line in the road. I seen a FedEx truck, but I didn't know if he was gonna take my package or not. I should have stopped him. So I went down there to Sparks. I was in Sparks, fell up in the Dollar Tree. Man, I did not leave my package down there. Man, I ended up going all the way down to Douglas. I was in Douglas because it's a pretty. The machine I bought was I spent a little money for it, so I don't want to just leave it in no Dollar Tree in Sparks, Georgia. So I was like, nah. But yeah, I was down there today. Yeah, I was down there today in off of is it Roundtree Bridge Road? Is that the right road? But I was just down there. I sure was. It said, "You what do you do with your animals when they pass away? Burn them up or dig a hole. It depends on how big they are. Lately, I just been burying them. You just bury them. Um, a lot of people say you feed them to the dogs. I don't know what they passed away from. You see what I'm saying? And some things are transferable to the dogs, and I don't want to knock my dogs off. So most of the time, I just burn them up or I bury them. I got a burn barrel right here where one thing about animals you gotta always understand when you deal with animals, there's gonna always be some dead animals, guys. Like people who don't deal with animals seem to not know that. Like, yes, you'll walk out there, somebody just laying there. I mean, that joke was fine yesterday, up playing with you and everything, and just night gone. So normally I burn them up or dig a hole. Um, but truthfully, they seem like the burning up is the best way to do it. You just gotta make sure you get it all burnt up, because if you don't get it all burnt up, it'll start stinking. So, you just gotta probably it normally truthfully, it take about 2 days to burn one up. It take about 2 days, especially a big one. You have to burn it and you gotta keep it going. Put a little diesel on it, put some pallets or something, and just get it to burn. And then after the pallets burn up, probably gotta throw some more pallets. It take about 2 days to get them burnt down to the ground. I mean, to the nothing. Like you go out there, they burnt down. Yeah. Yeah, off Highway 41 in Sparks. Yeah, I was down there, man. Yeah, I was in Sparks today, man, down there kicking it. Yo, yeah, swole through it says, "Do you have tours to see?" I don't right now. I don't have tours to see my animals. A lot of people are asking that, and eventually I probably will. I'm not saying it's a hard no, like no. Um, Eventually I probably will. Let people come down and see the place, etc. I'm just what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to build out the place where I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody was emailing me. I'm getting ready to build out the place to where you heard me talk about the chicken. I'm getting ready to do the chicken processing. Um and a lot of people to come down and do chicken process. We're gonna let 10 couples come down. When I mean couple, it's gonna be 2 people. So it could be you and your friend or husband and wife. Y'all come down and learn about chicken processing. We getting ready to do that for sure. So when y'all saw me get that chicken tractor, that was the first step of it. Next, y'all gonna see me put up a tent. When I get the tent set up, we gotta get the water running to the tent. We gotta get some fans in the tent because them tents get hot. Just gotta make it decent, right? I know it ain't gotta be brand new. We're gonna put the tents up. We're gonna gotta put some kill cones out all around it. I need to put 5 or 6 kill cones out. Maybe 5 kill cones, so each couple have a bird. So we gotta put some posts in the ground and put kill cones up, and then that way you could do your necks and So we're getting ready to do that. I don't be scared of what? Yeah. What do you mean? Scared of what? Yeah. You said I don't be scared. Just tell me what I don't be scared of. I don't know what you're asking if I'm scared of. Um, but yeah, that's what I plan on doing. So eventually I plan on getting you down. It says, hold on, here's on. Shout out from Southwest Michigan. Thank you so much for the continuous and real insight. That's Miss Connie. Miss Connie, how you pronounce it? Yo, Daycree. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Butts County. What's going on, Butts County? What do you think about easements? Easements can work, but you need to read the fine print on easements. And let me tell you about an easement. So an easement is just basically an agreed upon road access that either you give somebody or somebody gives you, that you can cut through their property. You can't make no changes on it. You just can use this road through my property to get to your property. And the same way with yours. You agree, it's an agreed upon road. Now, they have 100-year easements, 20-year easements. They got all kind of verbiage that you really need to be careful of what an easement. And you need to know, because the easement can go away when the property change hands. It was a gentleman deal between two people or two family members, two cousins, and two best friends or two neighbors that liked each other, and one gave the other rights to the property to drive through. Now that easement can literally change and go away when the property transfer. So easements can work, but you need to know the wording. You need to understand if you're gonna have access to it, how long you're gonna have access to it. Like it's just all about doing due diligence, guys. Um, she said, "Do I be burning my animals?" Nah, I don't be afraid to burn my animals. I have to, guys. What am I supposed to do with it? What am I supposed to do with it? So I have to go out there and take my tractor and drag it and burn it. Yeah. Um, you could dig a hole, put them in the ground. That works too. I've done that. Put them in the ground. That's not an issue. It's all the same. You ask me. But yeah, that's the only thing about it, man. You gotta know how to do this stuff, and I ain't gonna act like I just did, guys. I've learned this stuff. Make sure who is responsible for upkeep of the easement. Now that's Stephanie. Stephanie generally gives, and I can say this for sure. Stephanie genuinely gives good comments. I shout out to Stephanie because she gives good comments. So if you see her comment, check her out, because a lot of her information I find valuable, because she told me about the trust, and you can put the home and the homestead in it, and the first, long as the beneficiary of the trust is on the deed, you can get an affidavit, like all that's good stuff, right? So yeah, Stephanie gives good advice, so she knows what she's talking about. So whose job it is to upkeep the easement should definitely be on the list, because it may be your job. It may be your job or it may be theirs. We don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for that, Stephanie. Great point. Thank you. We appreciate all the gems. Well, I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate everything. I apologize for not being able to go live. I mentioned that my laptop had went down on me, and I have to get me a new laptop. But I'm gonna use the one I have right now. Um, Laura asked, "Did I bury Winston?" Yeah, I buried Winston. Yeah, I buried him. Yeah, I didn't burn them up. I buried him. I dug a hole up there, and I put him in a hole, and I dug pretty deep, because when I was up there at first, every now and then the wind and blow, you smell something, right? But I don't smell anything up there. Now that the grass coming in and everything, so I think he broke down pretty fast. Next time, I put lime in. I had to bury another one. I put lime in there. And that seemed to work, but they say it's a certain quick release lime. It's a certain type of lime you want to put in there to keep the smell down. But I ain't really had no problems with the smell, and I haven't had any problems with animals digging up. Now, one thing I can say when I talk about this stuff about my property is my property pretty much is 100% surrounded with fencing. The backside surrounded with electric fencing. And the reason why I did that is because I saw a fox back there one time. And when I saw that fox, I knew that Joker was trying to get in. So we put electric fence back there, and then we have an electric like jumper underneath the gate. So if you try to climb through, he'll get shocked too. And that jumper touched that fence, I got shocked too. You said when is a good time to catch my lives? I think that's an issue with me. I don't have a set schedule yet, and I believe that would help me get my views on my live, because I know a lot of you guys want to see the lives. I'm so willy-nilly with everything right now. I'm just wide open. For the last week, I don't know when the last time I did a live. I've been trying to get on every day, but my laptop been crashing on me. It's going black screen. I think it's just the video cards going out on it. And so I don't have a set time yet. And maybe that's a suggestion that I will take, that somebody can tell me that maybe you should do it at this time. And I'll try it and see. I enjoy sitting on the front porch. I like that view. Y'all like that view, right? That view go hard right there, right? That is nice. That is nice. Pensacola, what's going on? How you doing? You said people have many different kinds of animals. What benefits of sheep? I love you guys' channel. Okay. Number one, sheep are like cows. They don't give you one problem. They don't. The only problem you're gonna have with sheep is them all that hollering. You heard it. That's it. That's the only issue I have with my sheep. Now when I first got my sheep, they started dying, and I lost a few of them. But the ones that's left are strong. So I think I got a good breed out the lineage, right? Out the genetics out there right now. Good, strong genetics. The meat, sheep are great for meat. They eat grass. So when you talk about what's the benefit of a sheep, sheep eat grass. Goats will eat grass, but that's not their first choice. Goats want to eat bushes and leaves and all that stuff. So if you have a whole bunch of grass, you want to put the sheep on it. Like, that's my thing. And y'all may hear me say this, that if I had to start over from scratch, I would not do goats. I would not do goats. I would invest all my money into Katani sheep. And I would raise up the best Katani sheep, and I will work with the genetics, and I will build up a nice bloodline of Katani sheep. And I'll put them out there on that grass and let them graze. Like, literally with sheep, man, all you can do is throw them some hay, maybe put some cracked corn out there. They good to go. Goats need copper. You have to make sure their nutrition is good. Now, I like goat. I like to eat goat. Like, a lot of people don't know about goat the right way because they've had poor experiences with goats. But goat meat is absolutely wonderful, especially when you get it fresh. Yeah, for real, it's a whole different ball game. So yeah, sheep is just a wonderful animal in my opinion, especially for a homestead. They are great. They don't bother you. They're not out there getting their head stuck. You know, you come out there, a goat done went out there and just did something. Just like they say, goats try to wake up every day and try to find ways to take themselves out. I believe that, because them jokers, they be doing stuff. You like how did you in your mind reach that? You know. So if you want to know the answer, just go with sheep. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? You said you see me live at 12 minutes. Yeah, I do recap. So like this video right here, I'm gonna repost it again at 12 tonight. So people can watch it again. You says, I have a question. What's the best place to buy land? Go to landandfarm.com or land.com. Go in there and look at the filters. And when you look at the filters, you'll understand what I mean, because they have filters that say owner finance. They have filters you can put your max and your minimum budget in there. You can put what state you're looking for. Look up landandfarm.com or land.com and put your state in there. Go look at the filters when you click down, and you can drop down and it'll tell you what your budget is, like what you want to pick for a budget. And if you want to do owner finance, what state you in, all the different stuff, and then let it find you the properties it's looking for. All right, that you're looking for. And then you can pick and choose from those, and then it's going to tell you the realtor and everything. And what I would do is I would compare those properties across multiple sites. So I would go to Zillow, I would go to realtor.com, I would go and I would just search the address. Because most of the time, if you just get the address and you put the address in the browser and search that address, it'll come up. Everything surrounding it'll come up. Like if it's for sale on multiple sites and everything. And the reason why I say go to multiple sites is because that probably could already be sold and they just never updated it on this site. Or it's like the one I'm sitting on right now. We was looking at this property and it was under contract, but my wife was diligent. She was staying on top of it. And as soon as it came off from up under contract, it must have fell through. We knew about it, came down here, put an offering on it, and got it. You know, so it takes a little homework and a lot. Well, it take a lot of homework, but you know, you can do it. But go to land.com, guys. Yeah, you say check throughout the day. That is an amazing view. Yes, that is. It is. Yeah, that is an amazing view. I have a question. Yeah, I that's a lot of work went into that view right there, y'all. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm gonna repost this. You might be able to set your notifications to alert it. Yeah, set. That's the big thing. Hello, Kim. How you doing? Um, Shanti said you don't want a horse. Absolutely, emphatically, no. And I mean, with every deepness inside of my chest, I don't see a benefit of a horse. I don't see what's the point of a horse. I don't. Now, if we had 100 acres and we had cattle running around and we had to go out there and get them, I can see, because you know a good horse it's a working partner. I done seen them guys with them horses that know how to get them horses and make them horses cut animals off and bite. They call them biters. They can bite the cows and make them move. You know, the cows scatter the horse and the horse come walking up on you on his back, everybody running, you know. But for me right now, that's just another mouth to feed that I can't eat, you know. I get a donkey before I get a horse because a donkey will serve more purpose to me down here because, you know, donkeys protect your place. I don't see no benefit in a horse, not for me, unless I was just gonna breed them and sell them and try to make some money off of them. But I just don't. I don't see that, right? Let's see. Nah, I don't. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's see. He said, how often do you have to groom and shave your sheep? I don't groom my sheep. My sheep are what they call hair sheep. So don't confuse wool sheep with hair sheep. So when y'all see my sheep, the next time y'all see a video of my sheep gonna look good because they done shed it. I got one sheep that's got doggone some kind of wool in her, and I gotta get her shaved. But the rest of them, they all shed. They just look rough when they shedding. So that's why I said go with the Katani. Don't go with the wool sheep. Now, if you live in a cold region, go with the wool sheep. But if you want sheep and you're thinking about getting sheep, go with Katani sheep. A lot of people like the Dorpers, but I'll go with Katani because they hair sheep. You got wool sheep and hair sheep. Hair sheep shed. We use all of them for meat, but hair sheep are the ones that were specifically bred for this type of stuff. So yeah, do that. You said, am I ever going to process my own lambs? Absolutely. I plan on that. I really do. I plan on that. The only thing stopping me right now from processing my lambs and my goats and my kids is I don't have a freezer. I don't have a freezer or a cool place to hang them because you can't process that meat while it's mushy like that, right? So you got to get it cold. So you got to hang the meat. So the only thing that's stopping me right now is I need a place to hang it. Once I get a place to hang it, give me a cooler or a freezer or something, a cooler that I can hang them in. And then when we get the meat, we can take the meat and it's easy to work with the meat after it's been hanging. But when it's all mushy like that, you can't work with the meat. What you about to do? You walk, honey? Okay. Everybody say, hey. She said, yeah, my wife about to do her walk. But anyway, let me see. I'm about to wrap it up. Let me see. Come on. Let me see. It says, he said, I live in the tri-state, trying to find land in Georgia. Kind of hard to travel consistently to look at land and work at the same time. Trying to do due diligence from up north, just me and my daughter. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That is. Hey, Richie, you hear your baby calling you now. You hear your baby calling you now. Don't turn your back on that baby. Yeah, but yeah, I hear you on that though, for real. I hear you on that. Yeah, that's that would be tough. Yeah, but you got to keep going. It says I've been driving and noticed a couple of goats in a field beside the church. And let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna go down. Oh, wait. So I'm using this different laptop. Yeah, I apologize, y'all. This joker. He said, so I've been driving and noticed a couple of goats in a field besides a church, and that field is so clear. I look for them when I'm grinding. Yeah, the goats will get it right now. But if you want to get some grass cut down, get you some sheep. The mixture is goat and sheep. That's the mixture. So if you want to really get that joker cut down, put your herd of goat out there, herd of sheep. The sheep gonna eat the grass. They're gonna eat the grass. The goats gonna eat everything, the bushes and everything first. And then they'll go to the grass when they don't have no choice. Like right now, that group right there, they eating the grass because they haven't made their way in the back. So I notice how they breed, how they graze, and they stay in these one little areas and they move around, but they haven't made their way. I got a whole big old place back here in the back full of bushes and stuff, and they ain't made it back there yet. So we'll see how that goes, guys. All right, I'm getting ready to wrap it up, guys. I gotta feed this sheep so she can shut up. I'm gonna repost this tonight. Let me see what. Yeah, this laptop I'm using, guys, is let me see, giving me all kind of. It ain't giving me issues. Horses are expensive. Yeah, I heard. What's the benefit of rabbit? I have to, but I don't want to make them. Fertilizer. You can use them for meat, but rabbit fertilizer is a good fertilizer. It's not a hot fertilizer. It's a fertilizer you can take out the bag and put directly on your plants. Fertilizer. Rabbit fertilizer is one of the best fertilizers you can use. So if you have some rabbit, I don't know what kind you have. The Flemish Giants are the kind that we normally get, the big giant ones for meat. And I'm thinking about actually getting some, but y'all don't want to know what I plan on doing with the meat, like what I plan on doing with them. But yeah, fertilizer. Bag up the fertilizer. I know people that have a cage with a rabbit cage, and it's got like these little grates in it. So when it the poo fall down to the bottom, and then they go out there and collect on all the fertilizer up and they bag it. And you can sell that. Your rabbit fertilizer is sellable, very sellable. And you can take that fertilizer, and even if you have a garden, and you can use it in your garden. I've used it before and it works. My neighbor had it. She brought me a whole bag of it one time. I put that stuff out there around that okra. Man, that stuff took off, man. For real. Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? All right, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. He said, are you thinking about getting ducks? If not, yeah, so I actually have been thinking about getting ducks. I've been thinking about getting some Peking to eat them. Like, I'm just being honest. No, I'm I will eat them. So that's what I want to do with them. But goats are nasty. For people who don't know, goats are nasty. That's a nasty animal, right? People who I know that have goats, I'm sorry, ducks, not goats, guys. She said ducks. Think about getting ducks, okay? But I'm thinking about getting Peking ducks. But yeah, they say ducks are really nasty. They're nasty animals. So when you get them, you have to kind of like make sure you got a nice place set up for them, because they're gonna duck poo everywhere. And if you ever seen them ducks and them geese out in a field, how they just mess the whole field up. So I can imagine having like a little coop or something full of all that. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about getting some Peking, guys. If not, yeah, been thinking about it. It says, yeah, rabbit one of the best. You said tell Teresa. I said hello. I tell her. Blessings to grandmama. Yeah, grandmama over there. She just walked on the porch and looked out. I wonder if she had wanted something. She seen me on the porch. She probably gonna holler at me when I get done. Yeah, she named that doggone goat. She named that sheep Blue. Well, she let all the followers name that sheep. That's that joker hollering over there right now. Yeah, ready to eat. We're gonna feed her. Them joker getting big. And I caught the little boy in there mounting her this morning, jumping on her back. So he won't be in there long. I'm thinking about turning him into a wether. I'm thinking about turning him into a wether. That's when we castrate him. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about turning him into a wether. But it's still a little too early. But yeah, I'm really thinking about it. If I turn him into a wether, y'all know what gotta happen. That joker gonna be laying over in that deep freezer in 11 months. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, hold on. I'm gonna she's safe. She walking up the driveway. We inside a gated. Everything here, we in our own little gated situation. Hold on, y'all. Rabbits are good for meat too. Yeah, I eat some rabbit. Y'all know something about y'all know something about any kind of meat you process, you can't eat it you got to eat it within the first 2 hours or after 48 hours. You got because you got to let the rigor mortis either eat it before the rigor mortis set in or eat it after the rigor mortis go away. What was the scariest part about starting a homestead? Well, one of the biggest things you're gonna face when you move away from the city is how dark it is. That's scary. Because if you grew up in the city around lights and around people, you always hear noise, sirens, car booming radios, and you see lights. But when you move to a place like this, it's dark and they fine with it. You just hear them in the back playing they Hank Williams Jr., right? And in the dark, But that was one of the big things for me, how dark it is. And if y'all notice, my place is lit up. I gotta see. Like, if you gonna get me, I'm gonna see you coming. You know what I mean? And my dog done growled a bark on first too. But Yeah, I mean, as far as scared, that was a thing for me. Um, Learning how to drive down dirt roads when it's wet, that's another big thing. Yeah, yeah, learning how to drive down a dirt road. Look here, Reese, get your baby now. You're like, that joke keep hollering. Now. Yeah, learn how to drive down dirt roads when it's wet. That was another big one. But I ain't gonna say I was scared, but it was just a new a new thing. You know what I mean? I'm about to go, guys. These dog, they go shut up. I'm about to ride, y'all. Hold on. I'm trying to answer our question. You enjoyed the live? Thank you so much. Thank you, Timmy. It's a lot of rabbits that run all through my community. Yeah, them jokers gonna eat up everything. Yeah, rabbits are they're gonna eat up everything. Yes, in Delaware ducks. Oh, really? Yeah, rabbit fertilizer. I have 14 chickens and 4 ducks and 2 rabbits. I want goats and sheep, but huh? I gather. Yeah, they yelling at each other. Yeah, I thought you were her mama though. They should have turned on you. Yeah. Um, but I'm renting on an acre. Yeah, to get a sheep. Sheep work, but you remember now if you get any herd animals, you're gonna have to get more than one. Billy goats are definitely Billy goats. Oh yeah, Billy goats. Now let's talk about Billy goats. I can explain Billy goats to you now. Them jokers pee on themselves. They pee on each other. They nasty. Oh yeah. When the rut come, when they go in the rut, oh yeah. Them jokers be back there peeing on themselves. And then another one to get in there try to get some of the pee. Like, oh yeah. Very nasty. Yeah, very nasty. Yeah. They ruining themselves to appeal to the females. You are absolutely right about that. And then look, they urinate on themselves, but they also another thing they do is them jokers try to allow the other one to pee on them too. Like I didn't know that. So if you got one who the ladies like and he get the peeing on himself, the other one to try to stick his head in there like get on me too. Yeah, it's like cologne, nasty. Yep. You said where do I put my animals in the winter? Yeah, I don't have that issue. I'm in 9A, so we get cold, but these animals are hardy. They be out in the fields. I have some barns up there. You say, is that the moon in the background? Nah, it ain't out yet. Yeah, it ain't out yet. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I'm wrapping it up. I'm trying to learn this laptop, guys. This thing is funny. All right. Yeah, I enjoyed it live. You was raised in the country, ate off the land. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now, guys. Eating off the land. Eating off the land. Let's see. Listen, you are telling the entire truth. It is blackity black out here in the country, straight from the city and moved to a farm. We have no clue what we're doing, but hubby and I are having fun and learning something. Let me tell you something. That is the best part of it right there. For real. Best part of it. Stick with that. As long as you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself, just stick in there. You'll be all right. That's the best part. Cause once everything get to running slow and everything get to, everything get to going easy and it gets boring because now it's just you on a routine now. So I always have to find new stuff because I got my goats now. My goats just moving across the field. Like right now, I'm about to go up here and walk them back across and throw some feed. I got these bottle babies. I got a new batch of chicken I'm growing out. That's my big thing right now. I got my sheep and I have a new meat bird that I'm getting ready to introduce to my place. And that's the only meats we're gonna grow and eat. That's the only chicken we're gonna eat. I have 30 plus right now. Yeah, it's like 30 something of them. And I'm getting ready to see what's up with those. Like for real. They're called dark cornish. So that's the big thing I'm doing. Yuck. Yes, Lord. I'm telling you, them jokers are nasty, guys. Very much so. All right. I'm trying to get to all y'all comments, but remember, I'm using this new laptop. So it says you're doing awesome. Yep. Yeah, my wife, she walking up and down. She do her walk every day. I'm about to wrap it up. Yeah, I walk with her, but I'm doing this, so I'm about to wrap it up for the day and be done. I appreciate y'all for joining, watching. I'm gonna post this again at I'm gonna reschedule this for noon midnight tonight. So, you know, I can be live for the other people. So if you see a live in the middle of the night, that's me just because you got some people who I learned are up late at night, like straight up. It's some people be up late at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting comments on the video. For real, be up watching the whole video. So I put that out because I want to keep content coming for all y'all, not just for the group on here, for the next batch too. Some people at work right now, they will watch my video doing work, right? So that's what we're gonna do. But anyway, let me wrap it up so I can go. This joker won't shut up. I gotta move these jokers back over here and put feed up here. I gotta feed a couple of them. Just that little set right there. I gotta feed, and then we good to go. And then we gotta put these bottles out here on these bottle babies, and we're good to go for the night. All right, guys. You was one of them up late at night. Yeah, yes, a lot of people are always up late at night. But I'm gonna repost this. Thank y'all for being on the live, joining, liking, sharing, watching. Apologize for this little annoying little sheep over here. She won't shut up. But we about to get us some feed. We get out of here, man. We get us some milk. All right, y'all. They said they missed you, Reese. You want to come say hey to them? Come on, say hey to them right quick. You should have just walked around the back right here. Here come Reese. She gonna say hey to y'all right quick. Come on now, we wrapping it up. Bless my life. I need it. Yeah, that's one thing about me. Here she go right here, y'all. She want to say hey. Duck down. You see yourself over there.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all have a blessed evening. Okay, amen. Somebody, I gotta go feed my baby.
Yeah, amen. Somebody. All right, y'all. We out. Love y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all in a minute. All right, this Larry. Peace.